Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Snap by Snap podcast. I'm your host, John Forbes, and today I just want to talk about the change in philosophy for the Niners on defense and what I believe has signaled this change, some of the personnel that they've picked up, as well as talking about some of the draft picks that they had, such as Romello Height, Jaden Duggar, and Grayson Halton. So let's just begin here. They picked up the two shorter defensive tackles this year, Oshie Digizua being one of them with one of the third round picks that we had. They traded that one away to the Cowboys. And then they also picked up Grayson Halton. Both of those guys are speed guys on the inside, and they can get to the passer in a hurry. They also got Romello Height, who stood up in college at edge rusher. He's also shorter, faster, not as long as Nick Bosa and Mykel Williams are. Raheem Morris, also the defensive coordinator that we brought in, he runs a 3-4, where most of the places that he's been. Specifically, the two that I remember are the Rams and the Falcons. Rams, of course, won the Super Bowl with him. Falcons, he was the head coach, didn't go so well. So now those are some of the things that have signaled the philosophy change. Now we're going to talk about some of the draft picks that they've chosen. Romello Height, Jaden Duggar, and what they bring into our defense. Jaden Duggar is just an athletic freak, guys. From the film that I've seen, he is so long. He's 6'5" and has 35-inch arms, which is insane. Same size as Sonny Styles, I believe, like on the measurements. Sonny Styles maybe a little bit longer, and of course Sonny Styles had a lot more experience and stuff like that because he played in the Big Ten at Ohio State there. Again, Jaden Duggar also played a little bit of safety just like Sonny Styles, so I think we got the closest thing athletically to Sonny Styles that we could get. And I do think Jaden Duggar is probably going to end up playing strong side linebacker for us, the same position, which would be awesome. I think he's just a Swiss Army knife waiting to be unlocked, kind of like Nick Martin is. Nick Martin, I know he had the concussion last year, which kind of has slowed his progress and stuff like that. I do believe as soon as he gets on the field, he's just going to be making an immediate impact. He is too gifted to not be on our field. I think him and Greenlaw are probably going to be your two guys that you see a lot of this year. I think Jaden Duggar can be rotated in. I think they've just got a great linebacking core right there. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Romello Height. Of course, on the shorter end, as I said before, he's not a bull rusher like Nick Bosa was. He is a pure finesse guy. Just exactly what Bryce Huff was last year for us. They've been searching for kind of like a D Ford-ish replacement, and Bryce Huff didn't stick last year. He retired, of course, we all know, and now they brought in Romello Height, who's supposed to be the replacement again. So hopefully he sticks, and I think that Romello Height is going to be that bookend for us. I think he has the potential to do it. I think the base, they've almost kind of recreated the 2019 room in a way. Not exactly, of course. They're not going to exactly replicate what they did. They have Nick Bosa, of course, again. Mykel Williams, is kind of, in my opinion, he kind of is like a DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, like a intermingling of both of them. I say Eric Armstead because he can move out to the edge, and then you got Alfred Collins, who is the DJ Jones, and then you've got Romello Height, supposed to be like a D Ford replacement. Speaking of which, I'm wearing his jersey. While the personnel leans 3-4 with some of the pieces they've added, they can almost run a hybrid with what they've got. You can throw in a little bit of 3-3 in there also. Put Mykel at defensive tackle, Alfred Collins, and then you got Oshie Digizua out on the outside there. And then at your three linebackers, you could run it with Fred Warner, Nick Martin, and then Jaden Duggar, and have those three be your main guys rushing. So now we're going to talk about what a 5-man front would look like. You would have Romello Height, Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, Oshie Digizua, and Bosa. That would be your base for a 3-4. Now, you could change it up. You could put Duggar on the outside instead of Romello Height if you prefer a little bit of length. Um, and you could also sub in Nick Martin instead of putting Drake Greenlaw back there and have him blitz as well with the 3-4. So that, I mean, there's so many options for them right now with the personnel they've got. And I think that's going to be our advantage on defense this year, is that no one's going to be able to expect what's coming at them because we have the personnel to run a variety of things, and that's very beneficial to us. Unlike some of the teams that can only run a certain way in defense and stuff like that, I think the flexibility is really going to help us this year. There's just so much potential for this group, and I honestly can't wait to see it this next year. So now we're going to talk about where Grayson Halton fits into all this. I love the kid, but I don't think he's going to be getting playing time until years 2 or 3. The simple truth is that he is just going to be a rotational piece unless Oshie Digizua and Collins go down, or something like that would have to happen, something dramatic. Halton, I believe, is extremely talented and he has a bright future, but with the room that we have right now, I mean, you brought in CJ West also. It's just there's just a lot in that room for him to be getting a lot of playing time. Now, Osa gets tired. Obviously, you're putting in Grayson Halton to replace him. You're not putting in CJ West. CJ West is that run stop guy. Oshie Digizua is the speed rusher on the inside. So I know this podcast was pretty short, guys, but I do appreciate you guys for watching. I will be back with more content tomorrow. I have another one lined up. I just do outlines and stuff like that for all my podcasts, if you guys wanted to know that information. I always plan them out a couple nights before. So, other than that, guys, thank you guys for watching, and peace.